Welcome back, friends. TV5 News at 9. It's time now for Education Matters. We're here with Dr. Craig Douglas. Thank you so much for being here. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well. How are you?
Oh my goodness, I'm great. I can't believe school's already here.
I know.
Oh
the calendar is flying by.
Yeah, the summer I don't know where the summer went. My goodness. So we're continuing our back to school discussion, and today we are focusing on middle school. So Dr. Douglas, middle school can really be a big change for students. Luckily, schools offer some back to school events. So how can families take advantage of these back to school events?
You're so right. And I want to credit Mrs. Bailey, the principal of Auburn Elementary School, for a conversation we had last week after last week's segment about getting ready for school for elementary students. And she was sharing about her child going into 6th grade and some of the preparation. I thought, yeah, 6th grade, that's a huge thing.
Yes.
So the back to school events, the orientation, the curriculum nights, very, very important for children from 5th to 6th grade or even 6th grade to 7th grade so that preparations can begin for all the logistics involved.
Yes.
I'll cite a couple of examples.
Okay.
Locker combinations. In middle school, many times children have lockers for the first time and they're combination locks. Very stressful. You'd think it wouldn't be, but it is. I've seen it firsthand. My office was in a middle school when I was superintendent in Carlton, and I'd see the stress in the kids' eyes. You know, is it left to right first or right to left first? How do you remember the sequence? And many times they'll make a mistake of sharing their combination with somebody else. So that simple combination lock and storage in the locker can be very stressful. Organization within the locker can be stressful. Where do the books go? Where do the pencils go? Everything. So pre-thinking all that out before school starts, I think, is a great way to reduce some of that stress. Another logistic is transportation. Are you going to take the bus? Or are you going to take a car? Or are you going to walk? Are you going to take your bike? Where do you go in? Where's the drop-off point? Where do you people pick up after school? All those logistics can be thought out ahead of time so that the beginning of school is less stressful. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. Those are great tips. That locker one, I'm telling you, that can be a real challenge for 6th graders. Yeah. So like we said, it's a change for students. You were just giving us some great examples, but parents, it's also, you know, there's some differences that they go through. So talk to us about how they can really plan for their middle schoolers.
Well, certainly in elementary school, there's only one or maybe two teachers to contact, or a counselor or a principal. In middle school, there's a whole staff of teachers and counselors and principals. So getting contact information and finding out, and again, this is simple, but finding out what is the best way to reach you. Do you prefer an email? Do you prefer a text? Does the class have a Facebook page? What's the best communication tool? Maybe the school has a software system where messages are instantaneous back and forth. I remember being in Swan Valley several years ago, and the middle school had a great platform where they could transmit information from the classroom to parents during the day. And so find out what the logistics are. It's going to vary by school and by the age of the child, whether it's a 6th grader, 7th grader, 8th grader. But those communication vehicles are vital. And I always advocate for connecting with the school counselor. Let's say that the beginning of school starts and maybe there's a particular problem in a particular class. The counselor is a great way to field that first question. Yeah,
that's a great tip as well. It's really never too early to start preparing. So what are some adjustments that parents and kids can make now that it's going to pay off later?
So in addition to my conversation with Mrs. Bailey, I did some research on the web, and one thing struck me as very logical, but I wouldn't have necessarily thought of, and that is middle schoolers are growing so rapidly physically, making sure they're hydrated, making sure they have enough water. I mentioned last week, water bottles are very popular in schools now, so that personalized care, especially with COVID, that was a big priority, right? So making sure the middle schooler stays hydrated. Many times, especially I think boys, don't want to drink water. You know, they want to take time. Isn't that foolish?
No,
but that's very much the case.
So
making sure that they're hydrated and of course rested and well nourished. Many times snacks during the day are important. It all varies by the child, but making sure you're attentive to those physical needs If they're in sports, making sure that they're rested and that they're not playing with nagging injuries, that they're taking care of their bodies.
So make sure they're getting into that sleep routine now because school is here.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Dr. Douglas, thank you for these valuable tips. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. For more information about today's topic, just check out the lifestyle page at WNEM.com.